All right, let me ask you something. Imagine this. Your interviewer asks, "Tell me about Redis," and your answer is the one thing that costs you the job.
So you're in that high-stakes system design round, right? The principal engineer leans in, drops that question, and it seems so simple. And what do most people say? You give the answer that, honestly, 90% of people give. Oh, Redis, it's a fantastic in-memory cache. Look, it's not wrong, but it's definitely not the right answer.
And boom, that's where you lose the round. Why? Because Redis is probably one of the most misunderstood and underutilized tools in all of system design. See, senior engineers, they don't just see a cache. They see a powerful toolkit for solving at least 10 totally different problems. And knowing these, well, that's what separates a mid-level answer from a principal-level one. And by the end of this explainer, I promise you're going to know every single one, and you'll have the exact phrasing to nail it in an interview.
Okay, so before we jump into all 10 use cases, let's craft the perfect opening line. This is the answer that right away tells the interviewer you're operating on a completely different level.
Seriously, say this word for word. Redis is an in-memory data structure store that can be used as a database, cache, message broker, and streaming engine. It supports rich data structures like strings, hashes, lists, sets, and sorted sets. Just that one sentence, that alone puts you ahead of probably 80% of other candidates. So now, let's prove why.
All right, first up, we've got to talk about caching. It's the most common use case, for sure, and you will be asked about it. But we're not just going to skim the surface here. We're going to go deeper and talk about the exact pattern that makes it all work.
Okay, now what's really important here is the flow. This is what's called the cache aside pattern. So your app checks the cache first. If it finds nothing, a miss, it goes and queries the database. But here's the absolute key detail interviewers are listening for. Step 4, setting a TTL, or a time to live. You have to have an expiry on that data. If you don't, your cache will serve stale data and its memory will just grow forever. That TTL, it is absolutely non-negotiable.
And this all boils down to the perfect, concise summary you can use. This one-liner shows you get the whole lifecycle of a cached object, including that all-important TTL, and, critically, how it protects the main database. Now, a good interviewer is going to follow up with this question. So let me ask you, if Redis just goes down, what happens to your app? Think about it. The answer is, it gets slower, yeah, but it doesn't crash. Your application logic just bypasses the cache, goes straight to the database for every single request, and keeps on chugging. It's a brilliant example of why this cache-aside pattern is so resilient.
Okay, let's move on to our next core pattern, the session store. You know, every time a user logs in, you've got to manage their session. Now, you could put this in your main SQL database, but that means a super expensive query on every single click for every single user. That is just not going to scale.
And this is where Redis is just perfect. Here's how it works. A user logs in, you generate a unique session token, and then you stash their user data in Redis using that token as the key. And of course, you set a TTL so it expires automatically. So now, every request after that is just a lightning-fast, sub-millisecond lookup in memory. It's crazy efficient, and that TTL handles all the cleanup for you. No extra work needed.
So here's the crucial point, the thing you say in the interview. You say, Redis is basically purpose-built for this kind of temporary, high-read data. This one-liner just nails it. And hey, every major web app you can think of, GitHub, Shopify, you name it, they all use this exact pattern.
All right, this next one. This is a classic system design question, and the solution Redis provides is just unbelievably elegant. It's got to be one of my favorites.
So, the problem's pretty straightforward. You have to protect your API from getting totally overwhelmed. You need to enforce a limit, let's say 100 requests per minute for each user. The real question is, how do you do that in a distributed system without creating some massive bottleneck? And here's the magic. Get this. It takes just 2 Redis commands. That's it. When a request comes in, you use incr to atomically increment a counter for that user. And atomically is the keyword there. It means it's totally thread safe, no race conditions. Then, on the very first request in that 1-minute window, you also set expr on the key for 60 seconds. And after a minute, poof, the key just deletes itself and the counter is reset. It's simple, it's fast, and it's completely self-cleaning.
This is the line you use to really impress them. It shows you have a deep understanding of Redis's core guarantees, its atomic, single-threaded command execution, and more importantly, how to use those features to solve a really complex distributed problem with just stunning simplicity.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We're moving into a more advanced use case now, one that really shows off the power of Redis's specialized data structures. I'm talking about real-time leaderboards. Think of a game, or maybe a sales competition. Now, you could try to build this with a regular database using an order-by clause, right? But imagine millions of users updating their scores constantly. Your database would just die under the load of all that resorting. This is where Redis comes in with a purpose-built data structure, the sorted set, or Z-set. It's amazing. It's a data structure that automatically keeps a list of members sorted by their score. So adding a new score, grabbing the top 10, or even getting a specific user's rank, all of these are O of log n operations. That is blazing fast, even when you're talking about massive scale.
And this is such a great example of that core principle of senior engineering. You're not just using a generic key-value store. No. You are selecting the perfect data structure for the job to get absolutely incredible performance. That is the key takeaway here.
So we've covered 4 of these core patterns in depth, but now it's time for the big picture. Let's pull everything together into that ultimate cheat sheet I promised you at the start, covering all 10 use cases.
Okay, just take a second and soak this in. This table, this is your entire Redis toolkit. We've already hit the first 4 in detail, so let's do a lightning round for the others. Need lightweight messaging? That's pub subscribe. Need to count millions of unique items without hogging memory? You use HyperLogLog. Need to make sure only one process can touch a shared resource at a time? That's distributed locking with setNX. Finding drivers near a user? Geospatial commands. You can even build a simple message queue for background jobs with lists, or a really robust notification system with streams. You see the pattern here? This is the mental model of a principal engineer. They see a problem, and they immediately map it to the right data structure.
So now, let's go back to that interview room. The engineer leans in and asks, "Tell me about Redis." But this time, you are absolutely ready. You've got the definitive answer that pulls everything we've just talked about together. And that is the answer. It's confident, it's comprehensive, and it proves that you see Redis not just as some simple tool, but as a powerful, multi-purpose solution for a whole range of system design challenges. With that one answer, you've just shown them you're thinking on a totally different level. So I'm going to leave you with one final challenge to really make all this stick. Sketch out a quick design for a food delivery app. How would you use Redis for 5 different things? Session storage for login, rate limiting the API, tracking drivers in real time, sending order status notifications, and maybe a leaderboard for the top restaurant partners. See the ability to map those 5 very different features to 5 different Redis data structures? Now that is what a truly senior level